Imagine this. You've worked for the federal government for years. You've dedicated your life to serving your country, whether it's delivering mail, protecting national parks, or serving in the military. Suddenly, overnight, your paycheck disappears. Not because of your performance, not because you did anything wrong, but because politicians in Washington couldn't agree on a budget. That's the brutal reality of a government shutdown. But this time, things have escalated to an entirely new level. Because Donald Trump isn't just threatening a shutdown, he's threatening mass firings of federal workers if Congress doesn't play by his rules. So tonight, we're going to break this down. Why Trump is doing this, how it could impact millions of Americans, and most importantly, whether this is a real threat or a dangerous bluff. Because if Trump is serious, we're looking at a shutdown unlike anything America has ever seen before. Before we dive into Trump's threat, let's get one thing straight. What exactly is a government shutdown? In simple terms, Congress has to pass a budget every year to fund the government. If lawmakers can't agree, the money stops flowing. That means federal agencies can't operate fully. Usually, some workers are told to stay home without pay, what's called being furloughed. Others considered essential, like TSA officers, Border Patrol, or active military, still have to work, but they don't get paid until the shutdown ends. It's like your boss saying, keep showing up, but your paycheck will come eventually. This isn't new. The U.S. has had multiple shutdowns. In the 1990s, Bill Clinton clashed with Republicans over spending, causing weeks of government paralysis. Under Barack Obama, Republicans forced a 16-day shutdown in 2013 over Obamacare funding. And of course, during Trump's own presidency in 2018 to 2019, we saw the longest shutdown in American history, 35 days, over his demand for border wall funding. Each time, millions of Americans suffered. Paychecks were delayed. Families fell behind on rent. National parks were trashed because staff couldn't clean them. But here's the shocking twist. This time, Trump is going beyond what any president has done before. He isn't just threatening a pause in paychecks. He's threatening to make the cuts permanent. According to the administration, if no budget deal is reached within a week, entire jobs and programs could be eliminated. Why? Because the White House says they don't align with Trump's priorities. That's a drastic shift. Normally, shutdowns are temporary pain. This move would turn a temporary standoff into permanent job loss for thousands of federal employees. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer called it exactly what it looks like, intimidation. He accused Trump of using fear, not governance. Quote, Donald Trump has been firing federal workers since day one, not to govern, but to scare. And that raises the stakes to an entirely new level. Because if Trump can rewrite the rules of shutdowns, turning them into a weapon, what does that mean for the future of American politics? Overnight, Chuck Schumer didn't hold back. He called Trump's mass firing threat nothing more than political blackmail. For Democrats, the fight is about more than just keeping the lights on in Washington. They want the shutdown deal to include major health care funding. Things like extending Affordable Care Act coverage and undoing Trump's cuts to Medicaid. Their argument boils down to 8 words. Cancel the cuts, lower the cost, save health care. To them, this isn't just a budget negotiation. It's a battle for America's safety net. But Republicans argue Democrats are playing with fire. They say the demands are simply too expensive. One GOP lawmaker put it bluntly. They're asking for hundreds of billions of dollars of additional spending. This isn't the time or the place. From their perspective, Democrats are holding up a budget deal to push through a wish list of social spending programs. And Trump? He sees this as a perfect opportunity to double down on his campaign promise, cutting what he calls wasteful government programs. But here's the dangerous twist. By raising the stakes to include permanent job cuts, Trump has transformed this negotiation into something far more explosive. Because now it's not just about policy, it's about people's livelihoods. Let's talk about who actually gets hit when the government shuts down. Military families, active duty service members still report for duty, but their paychecks stop coming. Imagine trying to pay rent or buy groceries without knowing when your next check arrives. Postal workers. While the Postal Service technically runs on its own revenue, Budget fights create uncertainty about routes, hiring, and resources. Workers are left wondering if they'll be next. National parks, we've seen this before. In past shutdowns, parks were closed, or worse, left open without staff. Trash piled up. Bathrooms went uncleaned. Tourists damaged protected lands, leaving scars that took years to repair. Everyday Americans, from IRS workers processing tax refunds to food safety inspectors to air traffic controllers, the ripple effect spreads across the economy. One study found that the 2018 to 2019 shutdown cost the U.S. economy $11 billion in lost productivity and delayed government services. That's money that never comes back. And just when it seemed like both sides might sit down and negotiate, Trump pulled the plug. A meeting with congressional leaders was on the books. But Trump abruptly canceled, writing, "I've decided that no meeting with their congressional leaders could possibly be productive." That sent shockwaves through Washington. Democrats accused Trump of not just wanting a shutdown, but craving one. One lawmaker went so far as to say, "Donald Trump wants a shutdown. He wants to be king. He has no interest in working with Congress." At this point, the blame game was in full swing. Democrats accused Trump of authoritarian tactics. Republicans accused Democrats of reckless spending. And millions of federal workers? They were left hanging, wondering if they have jobs next week. The tension wasn't just political, it was personal. For every lawmaker playing chess in Washington, there are real families across America who live paycheck to paycheck. Take the story of Jessica, a single mother working as a park ranger. During the last shutdown, she had to pick up a part-time job at a grocery store just to cover bills. Or consider Michael, an air traffic controller, who worked 10-hour shifts without knowing when he'd get paid again. These aren't abstract numbers. They're real people. And every day the government stays closed, their lives are put on hold. Now imagine adding Trump's threat on top of that. Instead of just waiting for a paycheck, workers are asking, "Am I about to lose my job forever?" Now, here's where things get interesting. Many political experts, and even some lawmakers, don't believe Trump will actually go through with these mass firings. Why? Because the last time the administration tried to shrink the federal workforce, it was a disaster. Earlier this year, several agencies launched deep staff cuts, laying off workers, freezing hiring, and consolidating programs. But guess what happened? Within months, many of those same agencies were scrambling. The workload didn't shrink. The demand for services didn't disappear. So they quietly started calling back the very employees they had just let go. In other words, Trump's government couldn't function without the workers it fired. And that's why many people believe this new threat may be more political theater than reality. Think about it. Trump thrives on high-stakes showdowns. He frames everything as a test of strength. To him, threatening mass firings might not be about actually cutting jobs. It might be about scaring Democrats into submission. It's the classic Trump playbook. Create chaos, raise the stakes, then position himself as the only one tough enough to stand firm. But here's the danger. Even if Trump doesn't follow through, the fear itself has consequences. Federal workers are left anxious, uncertain, and less effective. And every day the threat hangs over them, morale inside government agencies crumbles. So where does this go from here? There are three possible scenarios on the table. Shut down with firings, Trump follows through. Federal programs are slashed. Thousands lose their jobs, and America enters uncharted territory where shutdowns are used as weapons. Shut down without firings, Trump backs down. The shutdown hurts, but once funding returns, workers come back. It's painful, but temporary, just like in the past. Last-minute deal, Congress cuts a compromise. Democrats give up some demands. Republicans bend a little, and Trump declares victory on TV, even if nothing really changes. Each outcome carries risk. Each one leaves scars. But the bigger question goes beyond just this shutdown. If a president can threaten to fire workers permanently just to gain leverage in a budget fight, what does that mean for the future of American democracy? Shutdowns used to be political inconveniences. Now, they're turning into power plays with real human costs. And the line between governing and intimidation is starting to blur. So here we are. The clock is ticking. A shutdown looms. Federal workers don't know if they'll get paid, or if they'll even have jobs to return to. Trump says he's ready to pull the trigger. Democrats say they won't back down. Republicans are caught in the middle. And millions of Americans? They're holding their breath, waiting to see who blinks first. So the question isn't just whether the government will shut down. The real question is this: is Trump playing chicken with Congress, or is he playing chicken with the entire country? If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest stories shaping our world. And now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Do you think Trump will actually go through with these firings? Or is this just another bluff to scare Washington into giving him what he wants? Thanks for watching, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.